Thank you. That's what I need. Thank you so much. Okay. Hey, but he's a big one.
I know.
But I had a long sleeve dress. I'm like, I can't do this. It's gonna be too much.
I know you're here right now. Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay.
Mark around. We're going to go in order. We'll start with Patsy down the line. Yes.
Yeah, he said.
Jerry used to get the one that was, as soon as the music starts to trail off, and I go to the next trailing is like fading down. Who's doing the sound?
Yeah, we went back here, Jerry. Come on. You'll go from here, we'll introduce you, stand there in the middle, shoot your first there, and then just go exit stage, back to your seat, okay? Hey Ray, you're gonna start here.
The booklet. You see where it is?
Say that again?
The book. Yes. We have an announcement to make.
Yeah, about the photos.
About the photos. Ready to do it?
You ready right now? Yep. Everybody ready? Yes. Showtime? Good.
Bring the doorbell.
I wish there was a door.
You see? Just hold up. Jerry gets back.
Oh, Jerry's not in? Okay.
See the camera right there? You see the camera?
Yeah.
Where's the restaurant?
Ah,
As soon as he gets back, you will stop.
okay. There he is. Wait. Jerry's right there. Who? Jerry.
Jerry Napa.
Oh, not him. Oh, I got it.
Channel 7.
That Jerry.
He's looking. Only hotel.
We good?
Hold on, I'll be right there. I'll go tell him. Okay.
We had some no-shows, including Oscar.
What a shock.
He just got back from Africa.
It's probably why he no-showed. He's probably...
36-hour trip. Are you kidding me? Nobody should have to go through that.
Nope.
Can't wait for...
What's the protocol? Top or bottom button? What do you normally button on these things? Top, right? Fucking getting tougher and tougher. Man. Look at this.
You can leave it open if you want.
Well, it's a little snug. Gotta lose a little weight there.
Why do you think I wore a shirt?
Ladies and gentlemen, throughout the evening,
with the Hall of Famers up here on stage with us and at other times, please do not leave your seating area to take photos or approach the stage. All of the pictures should be taken from your seated area, and please, if you wouldn't mind, do not block those around you. Only Brian Kanoff, who is the official photographer for the hall, will be allowed up here with us in the staged area. Seems that everybody's meeting Brian right now. Good. Brian is also one of our Hall of Famers as well. All photos from tonight will be posted on the Hall website, listed in your program, and also on the Hall's Twitter or X, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube accounts. The official account is the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame Facebook page. Now, I learned something here yesterday, which I wasn't aware of, and that is this. Be aware of fake and old Hall of Fame social media accounts, as everybody apparently wants to duplicate the success and magic of the class of 2024 and the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Are we ready now to meet our Hall of Famers? Well, I know they're ready to come up here and meet all of you. So why don't we get things started first in the living athlete category. And she is going to be accompanied by her husband, Len Brunson. Let's hear it for Patsy Norman Brunson. Patsy, I like your theme. It's good stuff. Next up in our living athlete category, also accompanied by her husband, Paul Benavidez, Rita Benitez-Deloya. And our final inductee in the living athlete category, accompanied by his wife, Patricia Styes. Let's hear it for Bobby Styes. Time now for our coach and administrator category, accompanied by his wife, Jamie Williams. Let's hear it for Coach Michael Williams. Very fitting music, Coach. Very fitting music. And now, accompanied by her husband, Horacio Gomez, here is Kimberly Phillips Gomez. Thank you, Coach. Time now for the official category, accompanied by his wife, Harriet May. Let's hear it for Ken May.
Fearless men who jump and die, men who mean just what they say,
Sorry, I had to play the end of that song before we moved along. Up now, the supporter of athletics, accompanied by his grandson, Lane Frank. Let's hear it for Jerry Rubin. And finally, in the posthumous category, representing Pablo Danu are his grandsons, Dante Danu and Adrian Styes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again. Here is your class of 2024 for the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. We could not be here tonight without our sponsors. In fact, many of our sponsors are listed in your programs, but we would like to thank all of them, beginning with our title sponsor tonight, El Paso Sports Commission. Our diamond sponsors are Dr. Jim Bowden and Jerry Rubin. Platinum sponsors, Oscar Leeser's Hyundai of El Paso, Dr. Scott Stein, Brian Kennedy of Brian Kennedy Law, Flo Valdez, and Rick Hernandez, Acrisure Insurance. Our gold sponsors tonight are Gene Semko, James Arthur Flip Lyle, the El Paso Association of Builders since 1946, and Brian Kanoff Photography. Our silver sponsors for tonight's banquet, Mountain Pass Coffee Company and Rita Aguilar, Jerry M. Ward, CPA, Bob Azar Family, West Star Bank, and Christy and Fred Albers. And our final sponsor tonight in the bronze category, Erlene Gordon. Thank you all to our sponsors here this evening. Now, we have some very special get well wishes we would like to mention here tonight. First, to some Hall of Famers for us. Get well wishes to Hall of Famer Pete Solis and also Hall of Famer John Borkelbach. We'd also like to wish well wishes to the sister of Hall of Famer Uella Munn, to Hall of Famer Danny McKillop, and special sadness here in the media world. We lost one of our own recently. Javier Sanchez has passed away, and for those of you that knew Javier, he really was a giant in the media world. And now, you'll also see in your programs our memoriams, because there are 6 Hall of Fame members who passed away way too early in life. And, man, it's been very tough for us as we remember these great Hall of Famers. Our thanks to Ed Stansberry as well for providing some terrific graphics for us here tonight. Jimmy Rogers Jr. was most affectionately known as Mr. Sun Bowl, as he volunteered over 60 years with the annual bowl game and was a 1989 inductee into the Hall. He was a proud and distinguished volunteer for many charitable causes and civic events. Elsie Partridge was the first female athletic director for EPISD and was directly involved with the implementation of Title IX in the district as well as the city. Under her leadership, she successfully advanced the development of girls' sports throughout the city. Lewis James was one of the greatest coaches and football minds here in the Sun City, and we've never really seen anyone like Lou before, and he passed away at the age of 81. Lou coached football 17 years at Bel Air High School and later led Riverside and Parkland to the state football playoffs. James was an All-American football player at Texas Western in 1964. Armando Jeep Gutierrez died at the age of 97 on January the 2nd. A longtime El Pasoan and military veteran, he served in the U.S. Navy, earning 3 battle stars in World War II. Mr. Gutierrez was athletic director for EPISD from 1973 to 1981. Andy Stoglin was a great basketball mind, served as an assistant coach with Nolan Richardson, and of course, Don Haskins. Stoglin also played at UTEP in the early 1960s, and for a short time played with the Globetrotters. In fact, he was also the head coach for 14 years at Jackson State University. And finally, Perry Huddleston passed away recently. He was one of those rare officials that could officiate 5 different sports in football, basketball, baseball, fast-pitch softball, as well as slow-pitch softball. He is also a member of 3 different Hall of Fames in softball, baseball, as well as the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. If we could please have a moment of silence for those 6 who we have lost within the last year. Thank you. Also, thank you to Super Chef and their great staff for the food that we've enjoyed tonight. How great was that dinner, folks, from Super Chef? Thank you, Super Chef. Also, thank you to KVIA TV for streaming tonight's event live at kvia.com. And I also want to give a big thank you to the El Paso Community College team. They have been amazing for us here with that staff of Kenya, Felipe, along with Jaime and Vice President Dr. Carrie Moe. Thank you, El Paso Community College, for hosting us here tonight. My favorite part of the event, I get to remind each inductee that they have between 5 to 7 minutes to speak tonight. And at the 7-minute mark, your walk-off music will start. So, without any further ado, are we ready to hear from the class of 2024 for the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame? All right, let's get things started with this young lady who I had a chance to meet for the first time earlier this week. When you talk about dynasties and family dynasties, especially those at El Paso High during the 1970s, the Normans were the dynasty, that's for sure. In fact, it's like the whole family was a runner. It was unbelievable. Because you think about what they were able to do. Renee, Danny, and Victor all earned all-state honors, and then came Patsy. That's right. Patsy Norman, who was coached by a couple of terrific individuals, Danny McKillop for cross-country and Irene Ariza for track. Well, she went ahead and dominated every meet that she could run against. It was unbelievable. In fact, you think about what she did as a freshman. Imagine winning the Texas State Cross Country Championship as a freshman. It's amazing. At that point, how do you try to top it? Well, she did it because 2 years later, she won state as well. In fact, those El Paso high school teams did it. They won state cross country championships in 1978 and 1979. She also won the 1980 Texas State 1600-meter championship with the 7th fastest time in the nation. Not in the state, in the nation. As you might imagine, she had a lot of scholarship offers, but where did she decide to go? How about to the school that in the late 70s and early 80s was pretty much the track and field and cross-country power in the country, UTEP. That's exactly right. In fact, when she was at UTEP, she became an All-American. Not a surprise when you look at all of those accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to meet our first member of our living athlete category. Let's hear it again for Patsy Norman Brunson.
Congratulations, Patsy. Thank you so much. Okay, setting the timer. Give me a second. All right, go. All right. So I was going to make a toast to the spectacular El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame for their professionalism, their respect, their honorableness, and their dynamicism. But there ain't no champagne, so I just have to say thank you so much. The honor is amazing. I'm very grateful to all of those who helped nurture my ability and my talent and gave your generous encouragement over the years. But I was advised not to do that because that in practice took like 20 minutes. So I think I'm just going to, forgive me, focus on my brothers for a second. My eldest brother, Army veteran Julio Norman, please stand, Julio, bought me my first pair of running shoes at Kmart. They were about as flexible as his phone. But they were better than those black, you know, three-stripe monstrosities that we used to run in. My other brothers, Nacho and Rene, were great runners and were state contenders. Unfortunately, they've passed away. And then we have Danny. Danny, can you stand up? Successful business entrepreneur. He traveled to my meets all over the state. He would run with me while I would run the cross-country race. He would run here and there and he'd say, come on, all through the race. So he probably ran 10 times the race I ran. Just a great, great supporter. Thank you, Danny. And then my brother David, who couldn't make it today, was also a runner. They all were runners, as he said. Victor, stand up. He would strategize with me the night before the race. He would take a paper and he'd say, okay, this is where the girls are going to try to pass you. When you go around the curve, make sure you keep it tight. And then when it's, or he would tell me about the wind. Okay, you got to put your head down toward the wind. He would do all the strategy for me the night before my race. But I do have one question for you, Victor. When are you going to grow up? Never. I'd like to spend a minute on what it was like for me, little Patsy Norman from El Paso, to run with the track greats at UTEP. You know, I remember the names: Larry Jesse, Kim Turner, Charmaine Crooks, what's his name? Bert Cameron. I mean, all those Kenyan runners that were just world class. They would be working out with me on the track. It was unbelievable. It was a world class team. I was not a world-class athlete, but I had a lot of them on my side. So just because I ran a 4:28 1500 meter once and won once didn't mean that I didn't feel good about running that 4:28 and get 10th, because I had really world-class competitors, kind of like the cute blonde over there, Rita. World-class, you know. But people wanted to know, when I asked them, what should I talk about? Everybody said, well, I want to know how you did it, and what was it like to be a runner in the late 70s and early 80s in El Paso? What was it like to be a state champion? Well, first I'm going to do the champion part. I love to run. I can't deny that. I loved running. It was the favorite thing I could do. And I have teammates over around here, but Gloria and Richard Nicholson over here at this table. Gloria would come to my house at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. My mom would try to wake me up. She'd say, Mija, wake up, Gloria's here. And I'm like, tell her to come back at midnight. So I would run at 10, Gloria would run at 6. It was impossible to get me up, but I loved to do it. So I wanted to run when I could run for an hour or so, not just for, you know, half an hour. So I'd do it at night. It didn't necessarily mean I didn't like, that I hated to lose. It just meant I really, really loved to win. And I think that's a big part of how I became a state champ. The other part I feel, is how was I able to compete at that level? And I have to say part of it was because of my coach, Dan McKillop. He would make the girls run with the boys. And that was probably one of the funnest periods of my life, because the guys would just, they were hilarious. They were just ridiculous. They would joke at everything. Where's Richard? They would make fun of everything, and it was just incredible. And so running was a pleasure. It was like watching first-rate comedy as you ran on the streets of Mesa up to Festival, which, if you believe it or not, there was an outdoor porn theater up there. Weird. Right, growing up in El Paso, it was so weird. We would run from El Paso High to Cristo Rey, and we would run on Doniphan on the border, and the Mexican boys would come running on that side, and we'd be running on this side, the girls would be running on this side, and they would try to keep up with us, and then they would just wave and say bye, and they would be running barefoot on rocks, and, you know, they held their own. It was a very odd time. Other times where we would run over Scenic Drive to McElligan Canyon and come back, and we would be dying because, you know, this heat, 3:30 in the afternoon to be running long distances is ridiculous. But we would find a hose in somebody's yard. There were no water bottles in those days, and we would wait for the boiling water to come out of the hose, and then we would put it on our mouths. And sometimes a lady would come out of the house and say, "Oh, come on inside, I have ice cold tea for you." But it'd be like, "We got to get back before we get in trouble from coach." So I can never, ever find the taste of that hose water. Yeah, anyway, never will. But beyond it all, what it was like for me to be a competitive state champ in those days was something that I was just beyond blessed by people like sports writers like Julio Lujan and Rubin Ramirez. I mean, they would write about me Friday before the meet, Saturday before the meet, and then Sunday with my results. So if you read the newspaper once a week, you had a pretty good chance of reading about me. Then you'd have the guys on TV like Kevin Lovell and Fred Alvarez who would report about me, the Friday before the meet, the day of the meet. And I couldn't go anywhere in El Paso where people didn't recognize me. They would say, "Go, Patsy, what are you going to do next?" and all that kind of thing. And I cannot imagine a life without all that tremendous support. I just have to say, now with this honor, being inducted into the El Paso Hall of Fame, I have lived a perfect life thanks to you, thanks to El Paso, and thanks to the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patsy. By the way, Patsy brought up something that a lot of us have known for years. I mean, when you're growing up in the 70s and 80s, hose water was basically what we drank. Anytime we had a baseball practice, we didn't have bottles of water or thermoses or anything like that. No. You had a hose you found, and you had to wait a little while for it to cool off, a couple of seconds, and then you drank from the hose, and nobody thought about it. So it's a good job there, Patsy. I like that. It's time now for our second member of our living athlete category. And this young lady was born in the Netherlands. And when you think about her story, it's incredible. Just imagine you're 16 years old. You go with your dad to a track meet in the Netherlands, and then you get put into an 800-meter race, and you win. And it's the first time you've ever raced. You can imagine how you probably would get hooked on that. And that's exactly what happened with Rita. In fact, a year later, she becomes nationally ranked. And suddenly, instead of just going to one meet, it becomes her life. What's more amazing about her story is that as she continued running, she went to medical school in her homeland. And then she decided, well, maybe she would come to the U.S. and just spend a year here. And she had a lot of places she could have gone, but she chose UTEP, just like Patsy did, just like so many great runners have done over the years. And that turned out to be a pretty good decision for a lot of reasons. Not just the fact that she became a 5-time All-American while she was here at UTEP and still holds the outdoor records for the 3,000 and the 5,000 meters. But how about the fact that while she was here, she ended up meeting somebody who would become her future husband and the father of her children, in Paul Benavidez, who was a pole vaulter on that team. And, could not have been a better story. It was a match made in heaven. So as you might imagine, with all of those great accomplishments, here she is today, getting the ultimate achievement, getting a chance to be part of the 2024 El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet her, Rita Benitez-Deloya.
Good evening. Thank you for gathering today. Before I begin, I want to mention, as everybody has noticed, I have an accent. So I have tried to hide this accent for almost 30 years, But obviously I've been unsuccessful at it, so today it won't be any different. So please bear with me, and I try to speak slowly. Yeah. I want to start the speech with a thank you to my parents. I'm so grateful for the parents and upbringing I had. My mom, a teacher, and my dad, a competitive runner, have both taught me very valuable lessons in life. But let's talk a little bit more about my dad, since he has been my role model and my inspiration to become a runner. My dad grew up in a family of 8 kids. During World War II, his dad had to join the war, and he never returned from the battlefield. That left his mom with 8 kids and no income. So automatically it was assumed that the 2 oldest kids were going to work and support the family. But both refused. So my dad, the third one in line, took this responsibility and started his job in the factory at the age of 14, giving all his earnings to his mom. Despite this big setback in life, he never gave up on his dream to be an elite athlete. Soccer, his first love, was not possible anymore, since the practices were at the same time as the shift in the factory. So he chooses running, which conveniently you can do anytime and anywhere in life. He became not only the best distance runner in the Netherlands after a few years, but he became the best in Europe, despite working in the factory full-time. His motto, with a positive attitude and hard work, you can accomplish anything you want. So when I became a runner, I had my dad's attitude. When the coach taught me to run 5 miles, I would run 10 miles. When the coach taught me to run 5 times 200, I would run 10 times 200. As my attitude took me to the top, after a few years, it was also my biggest downfall. I had all my glory in the first 3 years of college. My last year and redshirt year, I was continuously injured. Stress fractures, bone spurs, you name it. And I always will wonder if I would have listened to my body, my coach, and my husband, what could I have accomplished in life athletically? At this point, I want to recognize my husband, Paul. Paul was also a great athlete and is now an amazing coach. From Paul, I learned another valuable lesson in life, which I didn't learn from my parents. And that is, there is a time to train, but there's also a time to rest. I probably would have never struggled with all the injuries if I would have listened to my husband. And I don't say it very often, but this time, Paul, you were right. Yeah. Paul and I have 4 beautiful children who are also great athletes. All our kids carry grandpa's attitude and don't shy away from hard work and following their dreams. Paulo, who is also an All-American in the pole vault, went to the University of Kansas. He followed his dreams to work and live in the Netherlands, where he is right now. Elise, who played volleyball in college, also followed her dreams. She wanted to become a model, and despite this very competitive industry, she found success in it. Then there's Bella, a soccer player who played soccer at UTEP. She's very caring and wanted to be a nurse from a young age. She also made her dream realistic and is now a registered nurse in Tucson. And then we have Charlotte. Charlotte is still in high school. She still has time to realize her dreams, but I'm confident that she will. She plans to do the pole vault in college, just like her brother and dad. We now have no doubt that if she works hard, she can accomplish her dreams. Then, a big thank you to Larissa for nominating me and all the work you put into this. We really appreciate it. Janan and Raul, thank you for being here and always supporting me. Your friendship means a lot. Also, thank you to Pat and Sarah for taking time after busy schedule to attend this event. Pat, you are a great boss, and I appreciate your continued support in and outside work. Lastly, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Rubin, Wayne, and the Athletic Hall of Fame for creating such a memorable week. Thank you. God bless you all.
It's Rita Benitez-Deloya. Our final inductee tonight in the Living Athlete category is, simply put, one of the greatest bowlers we have ever seen in this city. I'm sure many of you have bowled, some in leagues, some just for fun. How many of you here tonight, be honest, have rolled a 300 game before? Wow. I'm impressed. Is that your table, Bobby? Yes, that is your table. I figured, because nobody else raised their hands except for that table. 86? 86 300 games. It's amazing. I can't even imagine what it's like to do it once, let alone 86 times in your career. But that's Bobby Styes. That's, simply put, one of the great bowlers we've seen. And it doesn't seem like it was that long ago that he was bowling in the PBA when they were stopping by El Paso. In fact, he held the all-time 7-game scoring record for a couple of years with the PBA, had an average of almost 265 pins. It's amazing. In fact, he's the only amateur bowler in the nation to qualify to bowl in a PBA Tour event from the Tour qualifying round. And he didn't just do it once, he did it 3 times. It's pretty remarkable. When you think about all of his accomplishments, and he'll probably tell you a few of them up here today. You know, you win doubles in the USBC Nationals. You did that. You placed 6 times in the top 100 for the USBC Nationals. But I've got a feeling maybe there's going to be 1 or 2 moments that really stand out for him. And when he's not bowling, he's in school administration. In fact, he is now the principal at Irvin High School. What a career it's been. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Bobby Styes.
I guess I don't need to say any of my stats, so that's good there. That's good there. You know, good evening. It is an incredible honor to stand before you today as an inductee into the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2024. Being recognized in this prestigious manner is not only a significant personal achievement, but also a proud moment for our family and the entire bowling community. To be mentioned in the same sentence as 2 of the greatest pillars of bowlers ever, Roy Lown and Phil Prieto, that is a huge honor, just to be even considered in the same sentence. Those are the other 2 bowlers that are inducted into the El Paso Bowling Hall of Fame. It's just a great honor. Bowling has been a lifelong passion. I remember growing up, of course, I don't even remember bowling. It was kind of forced into our family. My grandparents bowled, my parents bowled. I remember going to Bolero Lanes. I'm a product of the Northeast. I graduated from Irvin. As mentioned right there, I am currently the principal of Irvin High School, so it's kind of gone full circle, you know, being a student there, being a teacher there, and now having the privilege of actually running a school. That's a great honor. But once again, growing up in the Northeast, I remember at 4 years old, I think I was already bowling at Bolero Lanes. So I could say that, you know, I'm 49 now, so I've been doing this for 45 years. So, I mean, it's a great accomplishment. I mean, bowling has taught us valuable lessons. You know, the most important part is really hard work, discipline, teamwork, and really dedication. From the countless hours of practice to the highs and lows of competition, every moment has been a step towards this remarkable achievement. Once again, you know, I've had some success. The biggest thing is really, you know, having some 300s. I remember my very first date with my wife. It was over at Bolero Lanes. They turned off the lights, you know, so it was kind of like moonlight. And the very first game, I shot a 300s. I mean, it didn't count, but, you know, like, she's looking at me like, who did I invite here? You know, I don't know what I should have done or anything like that, but they had no lights off, and I mean, it's just you get lined up, and somehow, you know, it still happens or anything like that. So I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to those who have been instrumental to this journey. To my parents on always supporting and encouraging me on the sport that we all love. It's a family sport, like what I said. My grandparents bowled. I remember at 8 years old, especially on the summers, on Wednesdays, My grandfather would always pick us up and take us to Fort Bliss. So it was always a family event that we always did. To my dad, that always still travels with me whenever we go out of town. We recently just bowled in Vegas last weekend. We had a rush back. And, I mean, my dad doesn't miss a tournament, you know. Now my kid's bowling, and whenever I do bowl, I don't think my dad shows up anymore unless he knows my kids are going to bowl. Now he shows up every single time. So now he doesn't miss them. He doesn't care about me bowling, but he watches my kids now bowl. So once again, thank you, Dad, for always being there. To my brother, especially at a young age, he was my motivation to always be better than him. That was, you know, once I was a little older, then I started beating him a lot more, but he was that motivation, inspiration to, at the young age, that was the person that I always wanted to beat. To my family, thank you for the unwavering support, love, and encouragement. You have been the rock, my inspiration, and my biggest cheerleaders. This is an honor as much as yours as it is mine. Can't imagine, you know, looking now for the rest of our lives, going to the Don Haskins Center and trying to find our name and looking around. You know, this is a lifelong achievement, and it's a great honor. To my fellow bowlers in the bowling community in El Paso, thank you for your support and for pushing me to be the best I can be. We have shared many memorable moments, and your friendship and support have been invaluable. This recognition is a testament to the strength and the spirit of our bowling community. There is no doubt in my mind that there are other bowlers in the El Paso community that also belong in the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Believe it or not, you know, bowling is one of the most popular sports in El Paso, but it's not a mainstream sport. So it's kind of hard to explain what a 300 is, what an 800 is. So hopefully with me getting in, we can open the doors and let some more bowlers in that are well-deserving to be honored in this, just like me. I would also like to thank the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for their incredible honor. Your dedication, recognition, and celebration and the achievements of athletes in our community is truly commendable. As I stand here today, I'm reminded of a quote by Vince Lombardi. The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job of hand, and the determination of whether we win or lose. We have applied the best of ourselves to the task at hand. This quote is perfectly describes the journey that has led to this moment. It is to remember that success is not just about the accolades, but it's the journey, the effort, the passion we put into our endeavors. In closing, I'm proudly grateful for this honor. It is a milestone that will cherish forever, and it motivates me to continue striving for the excellence both on and off the lanes. Thank you once again for this remarkable recognition, and I'm deeply honored. Thank you again.
Once again, Bobby Styes. It's time now for the coach and administrator category. And as we get set for our next inductee, this man achieved both success as a coach and as an administrator. In fact, if you ask the trivia question, where was the first school where Mike Williams won his first district baseball championship, the easy answer would be Hanks. But it's incorrect. It was actually Eunice, New Mexico. And thank God for the program, Coach, because I would not have had that information otherwise. But what a run it was for Coach Williams at Hanks High School. 28 years. You think about longevity, and that is so impressive. In fact, 4 district, 8 by-district championships, 14 playoff appearances, Coach of the Year, not 1, not 2, but 3 times. But then, when you think about the career totals at Hanks and who he coached, that's what's so impressive. 4 players who went on to play Major League Baseball. You're lucky if you get 1, let alone 4 of them. Incredible. In fact, 60 former players went on to play at the next level. So as you might imagine, Coach Williams was inducted into the El Paso Baseball Hall of Fame. But that was just the first chapter of his career. Then he goes on to become athletic director at the Isleta Independent School District and does that for 13 years and makes a name for himself. So, telling you what, he had already accomplished everything he could as a coach, and then he does the same thing as an administrator. So when you might imagine this particular honor tonight was really a no-brainer. And it's probably one of the reasons why his nomination night was one of the most star-studded nights I've ever seen, because just about every who's who that ever played baseball in El Paso was on the Zoom call, all talking about Coach Mike Williams. Let's welcome up here to the podium and congratulate Mike Williams for the class of 2024.
Thank you, Steve. I want to thank, first of all, Pat O'Neill and Jimbo Bowden, not only for nominating me, but for embracing me for many years with the kindness that the Bowden and the O'Neill families are known for in the city of El Paso. I'm truly grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ramirez, for your leadership of this prestigious hall. It's awesome. Committee members for my induction, I appreciate that. Thanks also to Donna Carter and Chris Lopez for keeping me updated on all the events. Congratulations to the 2024 Hall of Fame inductees. It's an honor to be with you. Thanks to the El Paso Sports Commission. Appreciate your support. Thanks to my longtime friend, Wayne Thornton. I don't know where he is right now. A man who, with a few words, can say an awful lot. I can get a smile, though, from Wayne, and a chuckle from Wayne sometimes with a few words. And all I have to say is, do you remember our days at Lincoln Center? And once we get started on that, that's when I can really get Wayne laughing. Thanks again, Wayne. To share my story is to share the story of the special people who impacted my life. My dad gave me my first ball and glove when I was 4 years old. Began shaping a boy into a man and a ball player. My mom raised us. His kids, he was gone serving our country in the military. I've never seen a greater love between two people. My role models on how to live. My brother Jim and his wife Martha, kind and gentle souls who never missed a game. My sister Peg and her husband Steve, always strong in faith. Thanks for always being strong for me, strengthening me, and caring for me and my family. I greatly appreciated. Don Brown, also there at that table. My best friend since second grade at Dolphin Terrace Elementary, and his wife Lynette. Don, I like to believe our life's journey has had more peaks than valleys. But I can say, my brother, today, we're on top of the mountain. I know how much you love your sons and your grandchildren. And I want to say, for those of you who don't know, I think Don's youngest son, Sam Brown, was one of the best running backs El Paso ever had. Thanks for sharing this moment with me. I love you all. My son, Zach, who is here, high school all-state swimmer, academic All-American, Raider Red at Texas Tech University, where he won a national championship with Spirit in 2017. He's now teaching algebra at Garland ISD to newly arrived students, immigrants. He teaches at a high school in our district. My daughter Elizabeth, who is not here tonight, Texas Tech graduate with 2 degrees, earning her Doctor of Physical Therapy at UT Medical Branch in Galveston. Her goal is to treat patients holistically, especially cancer patients. There are no words to express how much love, pride, and admiration I have for both of you. Jamie, my loving wife, awesome mother to our children, and the perfect example of what it is to be a coach's wife. I love you, I honor you, and thank you for being the love of my life. When my Optimist League playing days were over, Jim Pufall became my high school coach, and my career goals became clear. I'm going to be a high school coach. Thank you, Coach Pufall. The baseball program at Hanks was built by and belonged to the players and coaches who each brought something to the program. Hall of Famer Jimmy Melendez taught me what a true love and compassion for the game was all about. Rick Miller, taught me the real nature of competitive spirit and detailed organization. Neil Sanchez brought a strong sense of pride, loyalty, and work ethic. Thanks to them and to Peter DeBrule, Bobby Morales, Art Alvarez, Rubin Munoz, David Pettis, and Sammy the Bull. As a two-sport coach, I worked for some very understanding head football coaches. Thanks to Jim Pufall, Pat O'Neill, Carl Klon, Ron Dirks, and Jeff Cleveland. And thanks to my football colleagues, Dave McKinney, Pat Aguilar, James Causey, and David Cohen. And a special thanks to the Football Showcase leaders, Hall of Famers, Rick Hernandez and Ed Stansbury. And a special thanks to the force behind the Big 12 gang. One of them is here, Timbo Duncan and Blake Custer. Keep the flame burning. I have the unique experience of working for every superintendent in the history of Ysleta ISD. And they've all been very supportive of athletics. Thanks to Ruth Meredith and Pat O'Neill, who stand for integrity, Dr. De La Torre, Susanna Russell, who I worked with in both districts, and Dr. Z. I am now honored to be working in Garland ISD under the leadership of Rick Lopez, Dr. Rick Lopez, Jason Adams, and AD Ron Griffin. I am also inspired to work every day side by side with Judy Campbell, the first recipient of the prestigious Jody Conrad Award. Special thanks to our athletic office staff, Jordan, Jamie, Tasha, Coach Q, Jacob, Jock, Daniel, and Reggie. As an AD in Ysleta ISD, I was blessed with an all-star staff. Thanks to Luce, Rudy, and Sonia for many years of fun and hard work. Thanks to my good friends and ADs, Ray Sines, who kept us laughing, Phil Hatch, who kept us blessed, Ron Dirks, who kept us energized, and Renee Aguilar, who kept us real. My former players, now ADs, J.J. Calderon, Chris G., and Mike Beltran. My good friends and running buddies still today, two legends in the AD world, Maria Kennedy and Todd Vesley. The stars of the future, Romy, David, Martin, Eric, Alfred, Mike, Carlos, Maria, Big Jim Nunn, and my friends Scott Brooks, Ken Owen, Dan Ferguson, and Mondo Rodriguez. They're the ADs currently in El Paso. To speak for the players I have been privileged to coach is to speak from the heart. I got to have a break here before this. I'd like to name a few and their accomplishments and a brief description of what comes to mind to me when I talk about them. Here's the lineup. Bruce Ruffin, University of Texas national champions, 12 years, big leader, Rolaids Relief Pitcher of the Year. Never let him see you sweat. Advice he gives to pitchers, particularly relief pitchers, on his success. Alan Zinner, Arizona, Team USA, Major League player and current White Sox hitting coach, Mr. Baseball. Mark Grzelnik, 15-year Major Leaguer, National League All-Star shortstop, Gold Glove winner, the ultimate player. Danny Pettis, Oklahoma State, College World Series, Texas League All-Star, here with the Diablos. Major Leaguer, can do it all. Darren Glenn, Texas Tech, San Francisco Giants, appeared in 2 baseball movies. Smooth as butter. Timbo Duncan, UTEP, the captain. Rick Rivas, Oklahoma State, Pittsburgh Pirates, Iron Man. Roger Kasner, UNLV, Detroit Tigers, and I say this with love, Wild Thing. He was a pitcher. Paul Runyon, UTSA, Cincinnati Reds, rock solid. Chris Snead, Texas Tech, SEC official, Hall of Fame member, author of a book, founder of the Texas Tech Hecklers, and ironically, an official himself. Chris, the Renaissance man. Paul Glenn, Alan Zinner, Sr., Pete and Leticia Pettis, super fans and loving parents. This is what it's all about. I want to tell a quick story to wrap it up. I saw Mike Beltran at a conference. He was telling me that he was our shortstop in the early 90s. He played with Tim DeBrule, who was his second baseman, and they were quite a dynamic duo when it came to double play combination. He was telling me that his boys, who are playing in youth baseball about ready to enter high school, they were on the same team, and they were playing in a tournament on a select team. At shortstop was Mike's son, Beltran Jr., and at second base was Tim DeBrule's son. And that's kind of what it's all about in baseball. Thank you, and I appreciate it. This is a great honor. I'll come back and get my paper over there.
There you go, Coach. You got it. Sure. There you go.
That little thing you said on the radio, I'm sending it out to all those guys that want that.
Coach Mike Williams. Our next inductee in the coach and administrator category has another just remarkable career when you think about all the success that she has had. But it really shouldn't surprise you because of the family she grew up in. In fact, her father, Norman Phillips, what he was able to accomplish as a coach. Sometimes you just know when it's in the family, maybe what your calling might be down the road. And I feel like for Kim, that's exactly what ended up happening. In fact, if you can imagine this, going to Hanks High School and starting out coaching cross country, track and field, and also teaching biology. And now looking back, and here you are 40 plus years later, and look at what you've been able to do. 23 track and field district championships, 8 championships for district in cross country. And then you think about all the athletes she's had a chance to coach that have gone on to do incredible things. 24 of them for the UIL track and field meets, 28 for cross country. How about a boys team for cross country that placed 4th in 2019? There's really no wonder why that Kim Phillips Gomez is with us here today. She so rightly deserves her place as an El Paso Athletic Hall of Famer. So it is my honor to welcome up to the stage Coach Kim Phillips Gomez.
Have fun. Thank you. Hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame and Sports Commission, fellow inductees, family, and friends. I am deeply honored and humbled to accept this nomination into the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame, joining alongside so many wonderful, amazing coaches, athletes, and those who support and love sports as much as I do. Standing here before you today, I am filled with gratitude for this incredible recognition because really all I've done is what I truly have loved to do for the past 41 years. I want to begin by thanking Coach Marion Bennett for nominating me and presenting me to the members of the Hall of Fame. You worked hard to get to know me and what I have accomplished over the years. And your love, your support, your encouragement, and your beautiful words made this presentation possible. My mom is smiling down on you. Along with Marion, I want to thank Coach Truman Wells for your kind words, your love and support. You have always been there for me and my family, and I truly appreciate all that you have done for me and all the help you did for the nomination. To all the other Hall of Fame members who stood up and spoke on my behalf, and those of you who voted for me, thank you very much. I want to acknowledge and thank my family and loved ones for the sacrifices you have made over the years. Your unwavering support and encouragement have added to my success. You made it easy for me to put the time needed into my coaching and never made me feel like I was taking time away from you. I would not be standing here without the love and the belief that they had in me. To my wonderful husband, Horacio, who has always been there to help and support me. To my two beautiful daughters, Jana and Jordan, for sharing your mom with a bunch of other young adults and never making me feel like I was taking time from you. To my brother, Kyle, who is here tonight with Sabrina, thank you for your support and love. To my sister, Karen, and my mom, both in heaven, for always helping me and Horacio with the girls and being a part of my teams, loving the girls as much as I did. My love for all of you is forever. To my dad, you were my first coach, my mentor, my teacher, my assistant coach, and always my biggest fan. The time I spent coaching with you at Hanks was some of the most precious memories of my life, and I was honored to join you in the Hall of Fame. He was in the class of 1990. Also here tonight, Chris Chi, thank you for being here to support. He's our athletic director in Isleta. And also to an athlete of mine, Miss Destiny Loaiza, and her mother. The successes at Hanks would have never been possible if not for the amazing coaches that work with me and share the same passion and love that I do for cross country and track. To my assistants here tonight, Coach Brittany Delk and Coach Jessica Angerstein, both of these beautiful ladies ran for me and were amazing athletes at Hanks. And to Coach Bowling, you have all always been instrumental in the success at Hanks. You share your love and knowledge of coaching and the way you care about our kids, and that is a beautiful thing, so thank you for that. Also to Coach McKinney, who is here tonight, who I worked with for many years building the Hanks Track and Field program, thank you for all you taught me and all the help you always gave. We were asked to pick a song to walk up to, and I picked the song Memories by Maroon 5. Because when Wayne told us something about tonight, well, memories, right? Everything that we've done. So I have beautiful memories of successes and lifetime friends made along the way. The best job ever, so I have loved it. Memories of the first track team that I coached actually at Riverside High School and my 4 beautiful girls that we took to regionals. Memories of the first track meet that I won in the varsity division, also at Riverside. And the boys division was won by my dad while he was at Irvin. And at the end of that meet, he said, that's it. That's all we can do. I can retire now. Memories of my first state qualifier and how she set the record at the regional meet in the 300 hurdles. Memories of my first runner to go to state in 5 individual events and win 2 of those and get second in another, my first state champion. Memories of our first relay team to qualify to state and how we ran into Sunday because so many rain delays and evacuation of the stadium. In case you didn't know, it always rains at the state track meet. Memories of every girl and boy who ran at district, regionals, or state over the years, whether they won or they came in last. And memories of coaching a cross-country team. Coach Bowling and I laugh about this. By ourselves, 40 plus or more kids. I'm the only coach trying to keep track of all of those kids on the road. Memories of coaching 2 boys who finished in the top 3 at state 2 years in a row, and of my boys' state cross-country relay team that finished just out of 3rd place. Memories of being the first team in El Paso to ever win an area championship in track and field, and memories of helping athletes get off to college all over the U.S. and see how incredibly successful they become. Some All-Americans, some winners at the Penn Relays, some running for USA Track and Field, and some chasing their dreams at the Olympic trials. With our old memories, we always make new memories. This past year, my girls' track and cross-country team were district champs, and it's just as sweet as it was the first time. Of course, the true reason I'm standing here today is because of all the amazing athletes that have found their way to the Hanks Track and Field program. I have been blessed with wonderful, hardworking, and coachable kids who still mean the world to me. These kids give their all and learn how to become the best version of themselves. They leave us as family knowing they always have a place in our heart. As coaches, we coach, we discipline, we teach, we tutor, we console, we feed them,
we provide rides, we serve as second parents, and we show these kids how much they truly matter, not only to our program, but also to us. We build lifelong friendships with them and their parents. We cheer them on, we weep for them, we bask in their success. And it's always a thrill to have them come back and tell us what they remember about the program. In closing, I am deeply honored to join the ranks of the esteemed coaches who have come before me in the Hall of Fame. I accept this nomination with immense joy and pride, knowing that it represents not just my accomplishments, but the dedication, passion, and spirit of everyone who has supported me along the way. Thank you for this incredible journey. It has been an amazing week, and I look forward to many years serving in the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Coach Kim Phillips Gomez. It is time now to talk about our inductee in the official category. And getting a chance to meet the Grandissimo is going to be a great opportunity for all of you. Now, I'm curious, how many of you over the years have gone to a youth sporting event and become so aggravated with the officiating in the game, you decided, you know what, I could do better than that. Apparently, that is the Ken May life story. It's incredible, because if it's true, it is one of the more remarkable officiating stories you're ever going to hear. Because from that point on, he spent 39 years of his life officiating soccer games and soccer matches. Over 7,000 matches during that time. Hang on. I haven't done the math yet, but I'm about to right now. 7,000 matches divided by 39 years. That's 179.5 matches a year for 39 years. It's unbelievable. And not only did he officiate, but he also mentored all of the young up-and-comers into soccer officiating. It's no wonder why in 1986 he was elected president of the Soccer Referee Association of El Paso, and he spent 18 years doing it. In fact, I still can't believe he retired 4 years ago, because you feel like he is going to officiate soccer matches in El Paso forever. So it was a no-brainer when it came down to who should be in the official category, that this individual was a member of our 2024 class. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Ken May.
Congratulations. Soldiers from the sky.
For those of you that don't recognize it, that's a caution. You're doing things you're not supposed to do, and you better stop. Geez, this class of inductees, I wonder what I'm doing up here. You guys have got amazing stories. But it's an honor and privilege for me to be here tonight. No man's an island. I didn't get here alone. A lot of people pushed me along the way. First of all, my wife of 54 years, Harriet. I won the lottery when she said yes. My daughter, Jennifer, is good humor and forbearance while I was away at the weekday nights and on weekends doing the soccer matches. times I spent on the field away from them, and they never complained that I can remember. My fellow referees, 5 of whom are no longer with us. Tony Piccolo, who lit a fire in me to referee at the higher levels. Pat Shields taught me to view the game from the player's standpoint. He always reminded me, Kenny, it's their game, not yours. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. Patrick was one of our greatest generation. June 6, 1944, Patrick Shields hit the beaches at Normandy with the 3rd Yorkshire Guards. I asked him about that one day. He said, Kenny, I knew it was going to be a bad day when I woke up and I couldn't see out of my left eye and my ankle hurt. It was an honor and a privilege to know Patrick and to be his friend. Javier Matamoros, our rules expert, he never hesitated to deflate my ego when it came to rules knowledge. Tony Hughes, a great friend, always reminded me, do your best. It's not your World Cup, but it may be theirs. John D'Ascenzo, again, a great friend, always had my back. Now we have Miguel Garcia. He was Javier's counterpoint. He taught me to temper the rules of the game with some common sense. Sergio Vega, first Major League Soccer referee from El Paso. Son Marcos following in his footsteps. Gibby Widner came to me as a green as grass 16-year-old. Major League Soccer referee, now teaches MLS referees. A championship coach at East Lake High School, and he was a pretty good soccer player in his own right. Jair Marufo, another guy that came to me as a 16-year-old green as grass. He's now a FIFA referee. Only 12 of those in the United States. He travels the world refereeing soccer. Did I make those guys great referees? No, not a chance. I gave them the tools and I showed them the way. And I tried to light that same fire that Tony Piccolo lit in me. Always do a good job. Athletic directors here in El Paso. Ruth Meredith, first female athletic director in El Paso, to the best of my knowledge. A great lady. And Clay Cox. Those are the first 2 athletic directors I had any contact with, and they showed me how to run an athletic program. Because we hadn't been too tight in club soccer, and we never were. Pat O'Neill, Marie Kennedy, Maria Barros, guy you just heard from named Mike Williams. You know what? They're all Hall of Famers too. They taught me what it was to, like I said, to administer an athletic program. Almost 40 years of officiating soccer, assigning referees. I never ran into an athletic director that I couldn't get along with. And I think it was because we both had the same goal in mind: deliver a good product for our student athletes. And I hope we did. Bruce Spitz, Chris Lopez, and Duke Keith, the guys that drove the train to get me here. Thank you. Great friends. I appreciate everything you've done. All the people that made this journey possible. How did I start on this journey? heard a little bit of it before from my introduction. My 5-year-old son, Kenny, came to me one day, application for American Youth Soccer Organization. He said, "Hey, Pop, we're going to play soccer." I said, "Oh, yeah?" He said, "Yeah, it's going to be great." Watched a few games of his, and the referees stunk. And I said, I can do a better job than that, and I've never kicked a soccer ball. The guy heard that, named George Miller, was the head referee. And he said, "Well, we're having a referee class next weekend." So I signed up. 40 years later, here I am. It's been a great ride. I fell in love with the game. What did it do for me? I have the honor of refereeing the first high school area championship in El Paso. Coronado Thunderbirds versus Fort Worth. I refereed New Mexico Men's State Cup, Albuquerque Cosmic Debris versus German Air Force. I did a Women's National Cup regional final, New Mexico versus Colorado. I went to the U.S. Soccer Youth Regionals 6 times in a row. Refereed the state champions from 11 different states. College ball, the one that really sticks out in my mind, I refereed Air Force versus Southern Methodist. Before the match, I have these 2 young ladies from Air Force running over me. "Hey, Ken!" Samantha Teague and Lori, and I can't remember her last name for the life of me, 2 cadets at Air Force, been youth referees with me. The one thing that really sticks out in my mind, the game I remember the most, under 16 girls in Dallas, Texas. Young lady was hammering the ball. Wow, what a player. Later, found out her name, Mia Hamm. I got to cheer her and the women's national team when they won the first Women's World Cup. So I'm going to close it right here, Wayne, I promise. I just wanted to make the comment, this plaque is not mine. It belongs to all of the referees who came before me, whose shoulders I stood upon to get where I'm at today. And in closing, I'd like to leave this with you. My mantra has always been, be fair, be professional, have fun. Thank you very much.
America's best. 100 men will test today.
Congratulations, Ken May. Now, Brian, you missed something because you didn't see it was behind you. In fact, stand up for a second, Brian, real quick. If that table can please recreate what happened when we introduced Ken May, and Brian, you can get a shot of that. We had a whistle too, I think, or something like that. Yes, we'd like to make sure we photograph that. So make sure we get that for a second. There we go. Good job. Thank you all again. It's time now for a supporter of athletics. And when you think about this individual and what he's been able to do throughout the course of his life, it's remarkable. You always say to yourself, man, when you make it in life, you'd love to give back. Give back to those people, give back to the community, the city you grew up in. And that's exactly what he's done really his whole life. In fact, when you think about founding a company at the age of 25, that turns into Helen of Troy Limited, it's nothing short of phenomenal. And as the business got bigger and bigger, we started to see Helen of Troy more prominently around El Paso sports. Sponsoring the Sun Bowl game for 6 years was absolutely huge for this community. And as you might imagine, some years ago, he was named Legend of the Sun Bowl. Then we had a chance to name an athletic facility, like the Helen of Troy Women's Softball Complex, after his company. Those are just some of the things that Jerry Rubin has done throughout the course of his years when you talk about all the charitable and civic organizations he's been a part of. Now, his grandson works with me once a week. He comes on my radio show, and he's been doing this now for the last few years. In fact, Jerry, when his grandson was 12, said, "Hey, Steve, there's something you got to see. I've got a grandson of mine, and he loves to talk sports." And I said, "All right, yeah, sure, Jerry, whatever." And I didn't get a chance at that point to really pay attention. So a couple of years later, he's 14, he says, "Please, Steve, can you take a look at my grandson? Watch this YouTube video." And I watched it, and I said, "Man, I should have done this 2 years ago when I saw him." So, he now joins me every week. Jerry's out there with his camera. He is basically his official photographer and publicist, and I know how much he loves that. And his grandson Lane said to me, "Steve, you have to roast my grandfather tonight at this induction ceremony." And I said, "Roast? This is not Tom Brady. This is the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame we're talking about here." It's like, "Please, can you say something that's just some kind of joke?" So I said to Jerry, what sports accomplishment did you have when you were younger that we can at least talk about here tonight? Because we know about everything you've done with Helen of Troy and all these years, but what did you do that really could set this El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame crowd on fire? And he said, "Steve, when I was in elementary school, I was the 6th grade yo-yo champion of El Paso." Okay, that's a start. That is a start. But now here he is to finish the job. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Jerry Rubin.
Congratulations. Thank you, Steve. Good evening and congratulations to the current Athletic Hall of Famers and everyone who took time to come to this induction ceremony for the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. I first heard about being nominated to the El Paso Hall of Fame when Dr. Scott Stein called me to tell me that I was nominated to the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. I told him that he must have made a mistake, as I did not play football, basketball, or baseball. I said, who would nominate me? And he said, Mayor Oscar Leeser nominated you. So then I found out, just as Steve has told you, that he must have remembered that when I was 12 years old, I told him that I was a champion at Mesita School in the Duncan Yo-Yo contest. Over the years, I was always a big sports fan of my El Paso High School and of Texas Western College sports that I attended. I went to every football game and every basketball game during those years. I have so many memories of the sports teams of the 60s when I attended Texas Western College. Those years were great years for sports. Years later, Bernie Olivas, the executive director of the Sun Bowl, I think Bernie's here, and John Fulmer, the head of the Sun Bowl selection committee, came to visit me. They told me that their sponsor had not wanted to continue with the sponsorship of the Sun Bowl. They hired a search firm and talked to everyone who they thought would be a good sponsor and came up with nobody. So they came to me to tell me that they wanted me to sponsor the Sun Bowl in El Paso because they had nobody to take the sponsorship. Based on that meeting, I signed up for a 3-year sponsorship and later renewed it for another 3 years. The only bowl games at that time that I'd ever attended were the Sun Bowl games. I didn't know how the big bowl games sponsors handled their sponsorship. So I decided to go to the Rose Bowl and see how they handled the game. I expected a spectacular halftime show, and they did nothing for a halftime show. So I came back and I told Bernie and John that I wanted to have entertainers do the show in the Sun Bowl for the first half for halftime, so the families and the kids could enjoy the Sun Bowl. We started with the Lonely Boys, and it was a success. Later, we found an up-and-coming star named Rihanna. She had never done a bowl game, but was happy to come to El Paso to be on national TV with CBS. Just recently, she was the headliner for the Super Bowl halftime show with hundreds of millions of people watching her on world TV. She's a superstar today that would cost us millions of dollars today to bring her back to come to the Sun Bowl. So I'm happy to say that we gave her a start in doing halftime shows at bowl games. We also brought in the village people to try and set a world's record of people doing the YMCA in a stadium. It was a big success, and we set the world record for doing YMCA. A week later, Bernie Olivas called me to tell me that there were a lot of people who were unhappy with me. I said, really? And asked him who the people were that were unhappy with me. What did I do to them? He said it was all the food vendors. Not one person in the stadium left their seats to go buy food at halftime. I told him, well, then they could go at the beginning of the third quarter. The 6 games that we had were very special with many big-name schools. We had Purdue, Northwestern, UCLA, Arizona State, Oregon State, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Florida, Pittsburgh, and even Stanford, led by Coach Jim Harbaugh, who just this year took Michigan to the national championship of college football. Now he's coaching in the pros. We even had Condoleezza Rice, the former USA Secretary of State, come to the Stanford game to throw the coin and at the beginning of the game. She took my job away. She said she wanted to flip it. When Jim Center, you probably know, who was our football coach for 10 years, and then he became our athletic director, he called me to tell me that he was on the verge of losing UTEP World Women's Sports in Conference USA, as he did not have enough programs for women's sports. He wanted to add women's softball to his program. So I decided to build UTEP, the beautiful Helena Troy Women's Softball Stadium and Field for softball. I told him that I would do it only on one condition, and that was for the women's team to win the national championship, as the basketball team at Texas Western had done previously. But I'm still waiting. Thanks to Rubin Ramirez, your current president, for all the work that he does for the Hall of Fame. And I want to especially thank Wayne Thornton for all the time and the work that he puts in to make the Hall of Fame successful. He's a fantastic person for all the work that he does for the Hall of Fame. A big thank you to Ray Adonto for all that he does for the Hall of Fame. And thanks to Steve Kaplowitz for being here for the best MC and sportscaster that I know. As he mentioned, I also wanted to thank him for having my grandson Lane Frank on his radio show weekly. Lane is a living sports encyclopedia. Lane also has a weekly sports podcast and has done 173 podcasts every week since he was 12 years old. See, Steve, you missed him when he was 12 years old. Actually, the story is I called Steve. I said, you need to put my grandson. He's unbelievable. He knows sports backwards and forwards. And he says, how old is he? And Steve said, I said, 12. He said, I'm not putting a 12-year-old kid on my radio show. And so he's now 16 years old, and he's a sophomore at Coronado. Lane calls his podcast Schoolyard Sports by Lane Frank. So you can watch his podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and actually in a lot of different places also. On Lane's first show with Steve, Steve said, wait, with 4 minutes to go, he said, I know more about college football than any other person in America. There's nobody that knows as much as I know. And Steve said, well, if that's the case, you better come here every week. In his honor, I want everybody to have one of his schoolyard sports caps, baseball caps, which will be passed out tonight after the last speaker. Thank you to the mayor, who I understand is still stuck in Africa someplace, for nominating me to the office, and to the 60 committee members. Can you believe it? 60 committee members have to elect me. Thanks again for selecting me, and congratulations to all that have been elected in the past, and to the new members of the Hall of Fame inducted tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Rubin, all week long, we heard about your championship at Mesita at Elementary School. We've also heard that it's been a while since you've flung the yo-yo. Well, now that you can afford to replace all those broken windows that you say you used to break, you can practice at home. Got you a yo-yo.
Mr. Jerry Rubin. Our final inductee tonight is in the posthumous category. We lost Pablo Danu 6 years ago, yet you look at the mark he made on the cycling community, both here in El Paso and in Juarez, Mexico, and it's nothing short of spectacular. And I was looking at his bio, and you're going to get a chance to hear from his grandson, Dante, in just a moment. But I can't figure out what was more impressive. The fact that his 4 sons and grandsons continued the legacy all these years later, or as Pablo got older, just the amount of awards and recognition just kept piling up, because he was competitive both here and in Ciudad Juarez. But you think about what he was able to accomplish. Athlete of the Year in Ciudad Juarez in 1965. And then 22 years later, he gets inducted into the Juarez Athletic Hall of Fame. But truly, he was one of the great champions as he got older in the senior games. 2-time winner of the National Senior Games cycling competition. Undefeated here in the El Paso Senior Games cycling competitions. So it seems like it's just a no-brainer that Pablo is joining his rightful place here tonight at the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Here to talk a little bit about his grandfather and really the legacy that he leaves behind both here in El Paso and in Juarez is Pablo's grandson, Dante Danu.
All right, well, save the best for last, right? I think I'm the last one. I'm sure you guys are all anxious to get those baseball caps, so I'll try to make it quick. Firstly, of course, we have to thank God for sending us, our grandpa Pablo, and for making him such a great grandfather. So first of all, thank God. Before I get into my speech, I also want to thank Flip Lyle for his tenacity and perseverance in nominating my grandpa every year. He's been nominating him for I don't know how many years. Without him, it wouldn't be possible. My grandpa wouldn't be inducted. When the first time Flip asked my grandpa if he would like to be nominated, he was thrilled beyond words. My grandpa was extremely thrilled. So I know he would be just as thrilled to be up here if he was still here. So I'll go ahead and get into the speech now. So it's both an honor and a privilege to stand here before you today to accept this award on behalf of my late grandpa, Pablo Danu, as he's inducted into the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. This recognition is a testament to his remarkable achievements and enduring legacy, not just as a world-class cyclist, but also as a devoted family man, an inspirational figure to many. My grandpa's journey in the world of cycling began in the late 1940s. This was a time when the sport was gaining momentum and required immense dedication, resilience, and passion. He raced all over the world, achieving notable victories in Mexico and USA. His accomplishments were nothing short of extraordinary, earning him accolades and respect far and wide. Yet, beyond the medals and trophies, it was his spirit, his determination, and his love for the sport that truly defined him. While his athletic achievements are being celebrated here today, it's his role as a father figure that I cherish the most. Growing up, my grandpa was more than just a grandfather to me. He was my main father figure. He was a mentor and my hero. He instilled in me values of perseverance, integrity, and the importance of family. These lessons have guided me throughout my life, and for that I am eternally grateful. One of my most treasured memories with my grandpa is a drive that we took through Chihuahua a few years before he passed. It wasn't just a journey through the scenic landscapes of the Barrancas del Cobre and the Cascada de Basasiachi and Cascada Cusarare, but also a journey through his past. As we drove, he pointed out some of the various stages of some of his earlier races, sharing stories of his triumphs and challenges. His eyes would light up as he recounted those experiences, and in those moments I felt an even deeper connection to him and his legacy. In his final years, my grandpa and I had a cherished tradition as well of going out to eat regularly. It was kind of our little special time together, filled with laughter and stories and just the simple joy of each other's company. If you were here today, I would probably just say something like, "Hey boy, ¿qué vamos a comer?" It was our little ritual, reminder of the bond that we shared and the memories that we created. My grandpa's life was filled with love and dedication, not just to cycling, but to his family as well. He was a father to 9 children, a grandfather to 24 grandchildren, and a great-grandfather to 37 great-grandchildren. His legacy lives on in each of us, and we strive to honor his memory by embodying the values that he held dear. This induction into the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame is a fitting tribute to a man who gave us so much in the world of sports and to his family. On behalf of our entire family, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for recognizing his contributions and honoring him in this special way. In closing, I would like to say that my grandfather's story is not just one of athletic prowess, but one of love, dedication, and the enduring impact that one person can have on so many lives. Thank you for celebrating his life and legacy with us today. And once again, thank you to the committee.
Pablo Danu.
Yeah, right now we're doing this. No, first we're going to do this. Then we're going to do the other.
Okay, then Jerry wants to remind everybody not to forget their hats.
Okay, I got you.
We have a couple of special presentations to make, and then we're going to get the Hall of Famers up here. Everybody's going to get a hat as well for Schoolyard Sports. Episode 173, by the way. The audio has already dropped. The video tomorrow will be up. Yes, Lane, I will take care of you here just like I take care of you on the show. I promise. Want to congratulate all the Ray Sanchez Memorial High School Student Athletes of the Year that were honored yesterday. They are all on the back of your programs here. Congrats also to the Hall of Fame Scholarship Awards from this past year. Not in attendance, the University of Texas at El Paso endowed scholarships, the John C. Burkhead and Dick Shanot Memorial Scholarship. Alyssa M. Ortiz Rodriguez. She's a sophomore and majors in the College of Health Sciences and Kinesiology. And the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame Fund, Hondi Yedis from the volleyball team, a senior whose major is industrial and systems engineering. At this time, we'd also like to bring up President Rubin R. Ramirez to thank our title sponsor, the El Paso Sports Commission, with a gift on behalf of the Hall of Fame Committee. Rubin.
Thank you, Steve. It's my honor and a privilege to give the El Paso Sports Commission, President Omar Ropelli and Tony Rodriguez. I know you're out there. I need you to come up here, bro. Sports tourism strategist along with President Omar Ropelli. This is just a small token of our appreciation for everything that the El Paso Sports Commission does for us. You know, they're those silent partners that stay in the back, but they do so much and mean so much to us. So on behalf of the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame, thank you all very much for everything that you do for us.
A hat and a bottle.
Congratulations, gentlemen. The poster is actually signed by all of the Hall of Famers, and I just learned something that I find hard to believe, but apparently it's true. This is the first time since 1955 that we have had a color program for the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame Awards dinner. So hopefully the first of many years to come. Also, we'd like to keep Mr. Ramirez up here on the podium as he will be awarding Dr. Scott Stein, our immediate past president, a gift here as well.
Coming up, Prez. I've had the pleasure of working with Dr. Scott Stein these past couple of years, and his contributions to the Hall of Fame are just countless. He continues to support the Hall of Fame and every way that he can, and when we reach out to him, he's always there for us. So this is just a small token in return for what he does for us. Dr. Stein, thank you so much.
Thanks, Rubin. Appreciate it.
Rubin's done a great job this year. Please give him a hand.
The gifts keep on coming, Rubin, because now you are the recipient. You couldn't get out of the way that fast. Doesn't work like that. So we do have some great gifts for you as well, which will be, oh, wow, look at that. That's a beautiful bottle right there, as well as a poster signed by our Hall of Fame inductees here from the class of 2024. Congratulations, Rubin.
Hold on. Sorry, Brian. I'm still in charge. I know that everybody's been thanking me and stuff, but I just want to tell you that none of this would have been possible without our committee. Donna, her husband, Ray, and really the person that really needs to get all the recognition, Wayne Thornton. I've said this many times, and I think I'll keep repeating this until I'm gone. Wayne is such an amazing person, and all of you that know him know that he's everywhere. He does everything. And when somebody asks him for even that big of a deal, it's not that big. It becomes this big. That's who Wayne is. He's got a heart of gold, and I can't thank him enough. And honestly, he made my job so much easier, not only this time, but the last time I was president. And I want to thank him so much for everything that he's done for us. So I please give a big round of applause to Wayne Thornton. Okay, Steve, it's my turn.
I was ready to try and wrap this up.
Another person that makes this Hall of Fame go. I mean, the voice, it's golden. The personality is amazing. And as a friend, you can't pick a better friend. Mr. Steve Kaplowitz.
Thank you, guys. All right, I think we are in the clear, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I would like to let everybody know a very special date. Thursday, August the 10th, 5:30 p.m., that will be the unveiling ceremony for the class of 2024 plaques at UTEP and the Don Haskins Center. It's going to be taking place then, so we will be sure to let you know where your plaque will be located. And also a special thanks to Ricky Nichols at UTEP for all of your help with those plaques. So Thursday, August the 10th, 5:30 at the Don Haskins Center for the special plaque unveiling. Okay. Also, those beautiful table centerpieces, please do not take the centerpieces. We beg you. We will be using them next year, so take a good look at them because you will see them right back here 1 year from now. Okay. As for the inductees, we know you want to get with your family and friends, but before you do, we need to bring each of our inductees on stage one more time, and you can also please bring your souvenir plaque with you for the official Hall of Fame photo when we call your name. So all of you Hall of Famers, Patsy, Rita, Bobby, Mike, Kim, Ken, Jerry, and, of course, Pablo's grandsons, come on up here to the podium. We'll give you the opportunity for the photo. We'll give everybody the caps as well. Do not leave without getting your schoolyard sports caps. And also, please, folks, all of our photos from today will be on our website, ElPasoAthleticHallOfFame.com, and on our Twitter, X, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram accounts. For everybody here, though, tonight, thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see all of you back again in 2025. Thank you again, everybody.
Good job, Ray.
Congratulations, sir. Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I meant to tell you, August the 10th. Okay. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. Wayne. You still want me to read this thing? You still want me to read that? No. Okay, good. Okay, good.